In the YouTube video, I said they've attacked me hundreds of times. Folks, I'm talking hundreds. I don't even pay attention, and I've probably seen it 100 or more times. I mean, lies, cover stories, totally made up fiction in this publication. And why do they hate me? Never talked bad about them years ago? And they're nobodies. They're just a microcosm of what I'm talking about. Because they know I'm real and they're globalists. They work with the city to push all the tyranny. They want to pose as people that want liberty. And so I'm the bad man saying they're training troops to take your guns. I'm the crazy man saying they're building camps to secretly arrest you. And now it's all admitted. Washington Post last week. Oh, yeah, there's a big camp in South Carolina with jets that take off with kidnapped, renditioned people. And there's a torture center, and everybody likes it. And some don't, though. I mean, they're not patriotic. But there's no camps. And then they tell us, oh, there are, the Chronicle. Oh, a month after it's the biggest news story in the country that the Constitution's dead, they come out and tell you, and everyone's like, oh, incredible courage by you. But still, it's in a left-right paradigm. I mean, they'll still support Obama because they'll hate Mitt Romney so much. They're literally from the same banking cartel. It's no choice. It's like a Don King boxing match. Okay. I don't even know why I just digressed off into that. It's just that you see people attack you for no reason year after year, but they're attacking you for a reason because they're insiders and they know you're right. And then they only cover this stuff when they're forced to because reality coming out makes them look so bad. Bunch of sniveling trash. The head of the Chronicle puts on the eco land grab fest with the Nature Conservancy and a bunch of scum trying to take people's property. They want to be our feudal pimp lords. Boots are made for walking.
These boots are made for walking.
This documentary we're going to be premiering this Sunday in Dallas and then in Orlando the next Sunday. Find out more at Infowars.com/events. The tickets are going to sell out, folks. You better get them now. I know both theaters say they're going to hold 5% of the tickets back for at the door, but it's always painful to see people turned away. I was just thinking about the fact that Bill Gates' dad was in a secret intelligence arm. He ran literally in the 50s through a foundation, the first GMO projects to try to GMO crops. He's an admitted eugenicist who wants to reduce population. We've got all the documents. I've covered it piecemeal here, but I'm going to put it all together in one spot. And then Bill Gates becomes the head of Monsanto, and every major Monsanto crop's been linked to organ failure and reduced fertility in every mammal species it's fed to. Bill Gates is constantly running around saying there's too many people. He got caught in ABC News and Sunday Times of London in a secret meeting with the Rockefellers and Warren Buffett and others like George Soros in a secret meeting about world government and forced population reduction. That was in the Sunday Times for 2 years. And now we went and subscribed and dug through it. It's not there. Luckily, it was saved at Global Research. We just saved the blurblet. They saved the whole thing. And I have the ABC Newscast, TV cast, too, on that. I mean, it's just devastating. And that's why I get crazed. I am in an emergency survival combat mode, psychologically. I mean, I know what it is. I'm facing demonization, death, anything the globalist, anything's possible. And I'm committed. And I don't have fear. Instead of fear, I've got rampaging attack energy. Because when it's the opposite. Look, you've either given to fear or you give in to attack. You give into resistance. And that is a form of fear. But it's passionate and enjoyable and volcanic and empowering to not be cowering in the ditch. But when I think about that, I'm 100% right on this subject, and I know what I'm talking about. I've got so much proof. It's an ocean over the top ridiculous. And you're listening to my voice, and you're being assaulted by a bunch of degenerate scum who are highly intelligent, highly patient, highly focused, who have taken over much of our civilization and are trying to complete their world government to force a full takeover of their GMO and everything else on us, and the jacking of our water, the jacking of our food. I mean, it is so mega hardcore. In fact, guys, we put up the article, the encyclopedia article. We did find it. I was going from memory, but it is the largest of 5 U.S. naval battles since the end of World War II. And it's Operation Praying Mantis. And you can see the Iranian frigate Is-Sahand attacked by U.S. Naval Carrier Wing 11 after the guided missile frigate USS Samuel B. Roberts struck an Iranian mine. I'm sure they did. And there is that report. You can read about them blowing up a bunch of the boats. You want to know what this next attack will look like? How about 50 times this, probably? I mean, it's insane. And everybody's like, good, America's tough, blow something up. Our country's run by foreign banks. They're going to use this to take our liberties here at home and put us more into debt. I told you years ago, as they implode us with the derivatives fraud, I told you by the late 90s, how it would happen, even the time frame it would happen, sometime around 2012, 2011. I'm all on record. I made films about it. Had experts on. It's all been a plan. First person I ever heard detail it with pure precision was like 1997 George Humphrey, who I'm friends with. I mean, I knew him when I was in high school because, I met him first time Buchanan ran, what was it, 92? And I was delivering. He was like one of the heads of the campaign here locally for Buchanan. I was just delivering in a pickup truck. We talked about it on there, the Buchanan signs over to his house for him to give them to people. Side issue. The point is, he's an economist, former city council guy, very wealthy in his own skills, which is the proof, really, that you're smart. I remember him saying the derivatives are a time bomb plan. They're going to take over, set up banks as the new world government. It's all in the Trilateral Commission documents. And he wrote books about it. And I'm sitting here watching it come at us, and now it's hitting us. And now they're announcing world government. They're announcing all the carbon taxes and everything else, total slavery. And everyone is under attack. I mean, a lot of people say, oh, I don't choose to believe you. I choose to believe what the media says, or I choose to believe what the establishment says. Well, the mainstream media now admits global government. They just say it's just a new idea they just got to keep us all safe because these bankers know how to run everything when they're the ones that engineered it all on record and are the ones that we're actually bailing out. So we bail them out and then are in debt to them because we give them all our money. I mean, it's just so over the top that when you're awake and know about this, it's 100% crystal clear. And the general public was told there's no world government, no international bankers, no new world order, no plan to put troops on the streets. Don't listen to the crazy people. They're dangerous. Nightline, Newsweek, hundreds of TV shows attacking patriots in the last 20 years. Bill Clinton attacking them, saying, they're dangerous. All this stuff. McVeigh's crazy. He bombed the building because he thought of a new world order global government takeover. Of course, McVeigh didn't bomb it. The feds bombed it and then blamed it on their enemies, the American people that are actually Americans and actually awake to what's happening. But now that everything we were told the crazies believed is now public and admitted, it's not, oh, these people were all right, let's listen to them, they really know what they're talking about. No, it's, yeah, they're extremists. They say there's a world government forming run by big banks. Of course there is, but it still doesn't exist and they're crazy, but it does exist. I mean, wrap your mind around that. That's the same thing of the illogical, the mega banks write the derivatives, set up the scam, implode the economy, hold the governments hostage, have all their people in the regulatory positions, have the governments give them tens of trillions of our money that they leverage again into more derivatives. Then they hold us all hostage and say, you're in debt to us to pay off the giant debts you went into to bail us out to us. I mean, it's so ridiculous, you can't even grasp it. I have trouble grasping something that ridiculous. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that they put hundreds of chemicals in our water and call it fluoride, including lead and mercury and arsenic. And when we expose it, they have newscasts saying mercury's good for your brain. I mean, I could play the clip for the 200th and something time where the local news, and this went out nationwide, but I taped it local, said mercury's good for your children's brains. Take shots. I mean, that is crazy cuckoo. I'm an angry person because I don't like being assaulted. I don't like being robbed. I don't like paying taxes that go to foreign megabank criminals. I get angry. Folks, don't you get angry if you caught your neighbor in your garage stealing your lawnmower. You'd probably get mad. Why do you get mad about that and not about things 1,000 times worse? I mean, I see people that say no to cops when they want to search their cars, and they apologize to the officer. I'm sorry, officer, but you know I have rights. I'm not saying you're bad, and I apologize for saying no. You're apologizing that they're trying to violate your Fourth Amendment and trying to walk over what this country was built on in the name of keeping us safe when the government ships the drugs in on record, and you're not getting angry at them, letting them know what they're doing is treasonous. I can't tell you how many, you know what? I was reading an article here where reading an article here about what a legal complaint and lawsuit by the mother out in California where they come to the door and bang and say, your child's homeschooled, because in California you still have to be enrolled, but you're homeschooled. We heard she hadn't had her shot. We're coming in to give her the shot. And then the news published the woman's name and where she lived to harass her. So she's going after him legally. And she did the right thing. She said, you know, get the bleep off my porch and slam that door. And now she's doing the right thing going after him legally. Man, when somebody comes with news cameras to make you look like a criminal and tries to force their way in, color a law to shoot you up, I said at the time, that's criminal. That's criminal. You know, if a cop or a school minion or whatever, a health department person with cops behind him comes and tries to force their way in without a warrant or without probable cause or an emergency, that's a big crime. That's official oppression. That's a civil rights violation. That's the next step to dragging you away and forcing medical procedures on you. Hello? Who would have ever believed 10 years ago they'd be harassing Amish everywhere? Harassing people selling pumpkins and strawberries and peaches on the side of the road everywhere. I'm now seeing out in Austin, I've seen the sheriff's department out harassing people selling stuff. I mean, this country is going to Hades. Absolute Hades. We are on fire, burning down. And you bet I'm angry because could be only days, weeks, or months away from big stage terror attacks they could blow up Chicago, folks. And I've seen them pre-hyping Chicago for years, I've told you. Chicago, Denver is one I've seen them hyping, and they like to do it where they're in full control. That's the real capital. Out there up the road from Colorado Springs, I've seen major hyping of terror attacks. And Gary Hart likes to brag. The Hart-Rubin Commission said, on Fox News, I have a clip of it. What is it, Police State 3? I'm going from memory. He says, Denver, Cleveland, Dallas, and Chicago, and it was 4, will be hit with nukes. They're the same ones that go, oh, just 6 months before 9/11, we put out a report calling for Homeland Security to take over and checkpoints and biometrics to buy and sell. This is 3 days after 9/11 on C-SPAN. He goes, we need to get a new world order out of this. And I had seen the same guys from the CFR Hart-Rubin Commission on Hardball. Just like he wrote that letter to Ahmadinejad saying, we'll stage terror attacks on you. And published it in the Huffington Post. He said, you do what you're told or there'll be staged terror attacks. And then when We Are Change, it's in my film Truth Rising, confronts him and says, you said, you wrote that letter saying the U.S. stages terror attacks. And he goes, no, I didn't. That's a conspiracy theory. And starts laughing at them. He has like this real psycho laugh. But as soon as they say, well, here's the letter, Huffington Post, he suddenly gets scared. These are mentally ill people. These crooks are mentally ill, folks. They only get off as long as they're conning you. It's like a big joke to them. The minute they know that you can see them, they get scared. And within seconds, you can watch the video, he starts sweating like he's having a heart attack. And he goes, yes, I did write that. That's a mock letter. It's not meant for us. We're not meant to know. It's just prancing around in front of us. There's no world government. There's no world government while announcing the world government. I mean, of course they think you're stupid. They put poison in the water, not just the fluoride, folks. Let's not even debate that. You think sevenfold and bone cancer and brain damage and all this is bad? Man, the other stuff's even worse. The fluoride is just a adjuvant accelerant magnifier to intensify all the other stuff they put in there. They want to hurt you. And the minute you got sunglasses on, like they live and you can see them, they literally get scared. Because, folks, they should be scared. This guy's writing letters publicly about the U.S. staging terror attacks and saying, we'll do it, to the president of Iran, and publishes it. That's meant for trendies. They come out and tell you, and everyone's like, oh, incredible courage by you. But still, it's in a left-right paradigm. I mean, they'll still support Obama because they'll hate Mitt Romney so much. They're literally from the same banking cartel. It's no choice. It's like a Don King boxing match. Okay. I don't even know why I just digressed off into that. It's just that you see people attack you for no reason year after year, but they're attacking you for a reason because they're insiders and they know you're right. And then they only cover this stuff when they're forced to because we're back at the door, but it's always painful to see people turned away. I was just thinking about the fact that Bill Gates' dad was in the secret intelligence arm. He ran literally in the 50s through a foundation, the first GMO projects to try to GMO crops. He's an admitted eugenicist who wants to reduce population. We've got all the documents. I've covered it piecemeal here, but I'm going to put it all together in one spot. And then Bill Gates becomes the head of Monsanto, and every major Monsanto crop. In the YouTube video, I said they've attacked me hundreds of times. Folks, I'm talking hundreds. I don't even pay attention, and I've probably seen it 100 or more times. I mean, lies, cover stories, totally made up fiction in this publication. And why do they hate me? Never talked bad about them years ago? And they're nobodies. They're just a microcosm of what I'm talking about. Because they know I'm real and they're globalists. They work with the city to push all the tyranny. They want to pose as people that want liberty. And so I'm the bad man saying they're training troops to take your guns. I'm the crazy man saying they're building camps to secretly arrest you. And now it's all admitted. Washington Post last week. Oh, yeah, there's a big camp in South Carolina with jets that take off with kidnapped, renditioned people. And there's a torture center, and everybody likes it. And some don't, though. I mean, they're not patriotic. But there's no camps. And then they tell us, oh, there are, the Chronicle. Oh, a month after it's the biggest news story in the country that the Constitution's dead. Reality coming out makes them look so bad. Bunch of sniveling trash. The head of the Chronicle puts on the Eco Land Grab Fest with the Nature Conservancy and a bunch of scum trying to take people's property. They want to be our feudal pimp lords. Boots are made for walking.
These boots are made for walking.
This documentary we're going to be premiering this Sunday in Dallas and then in Orlando the next Sunday. Find out more at Infowars.com/events. The tickets are going to sell out, folks. You better get them now. I know both theaters say they're going to hold 5% of the tickets.